just going to read this. It says, again, if you don't mind, what would be your advice to someone who is beginning in his or her ministry?
Right.
I believe that what has been said, and it's all true. I agree with that. You have to have a compassion for what it is that you are being called to do by God. Because I believe that men can call you to do some things that God hadn't called you to do.
That's right.
And if you're not careful,
Yes, come on.
you find yourself out in the middle of the sea based on what someone else has desired for you and what God has not desired for you.
That's right.
So my advice to someone would be to, as it's been said, is to pray and ask God for guidance,
Yes.
for direction,
Yes.
for wisdom. And then I would advise a person to stay focused on the positive. Every little setback that comes up that looks like it could deter you, look at it and view it as an opportunity for God to get some glory. Faith is the key. Have a faith that when everybody else tells you no, when everybody's talking about you and saying things against your character and assassinating you, you stay focused on God. You keep the faith. Because when you know that God is navigating and directing you in your ministry, you will see men fall by the wayside. Not that you're rejoicing, but you'll see God continue to gain glory. So I would advise one to, as long as they have that passion, to make sure they understand that they're being called and directed by God. Ask for guidance. Ask for direction. Ask for wisdom. Stay focused. I say focused not just in the spiritual sense, but I say that for those of us that even are familiar with the natural sense, in the worldly sense. If you lose focus based on what you see before you, and your faith is interrupted because your focus has been turned off into something else, you'll miss the opportunity that God has presented before you. And so I would encourage and I would advise anyone to do like Paul. Paul said when he got his call, he didn't confer with flesh and blood. You can't always confer with flesh and blood because flesh and blood does not always want to see you succeed.
That's right.
You have to confer with God and then surround yourself with people that will encourage you, people that love you, people that will support you and help you propel to the next level. That's my advice.
Amen. Once y'all give him my hand, amen. I know y'all was taking notes on that. When you said that, I thought about one of General Colin Powell's statements that said, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. You know, if you're going to be engaged in ministry, you must be optimistic. What a great word. Here's one because of the time. If you can, anybody would like to stab at this. What do you think is the greatest opportunity for the churches of Christ in the city of Indianapolis? What do you think is the greatest opportunity for the churches of Christ in the city of Indianapolis? Based on, you know, how we do SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities. What is the greatest opportunity for the churches of Christ in the city of Indianapolis?
Definitely to save the lost. To save people that are not members of the Lord's body.
You are our evangelism leader. You know that, right?
I would also just add to what Dr. Perkins said is that oftentimes whenever it's the darkest in the world is when light is the brightest. If you turn off all the lights in this room and it gets dark, and you can just light a match and it will illuminate in the darkness. And though things seem really bad, whether it be in legislation, whether it be in violence, whether it be in a crime or whatnot, it's an opportunity for the church to speak up and speak out. Not to be quiet and stay within the doors or within the portals of the building and talk about it, but get out in the streets and preach about it. There used to be a time when we used to be the core of what was happening in the world. the Church of Christ. And that's when we were being ridiculed the greatest, because we were preaching and teaching and telling people that what was wrong and what was in error was wrong. And there's things right now that we need to be taking and unifying ourselves and talking about it, coming up with a strategy, and then addressing it as the church. And not letting the Baptist alliances, not let the concerned clergies and all of them speak out, but the Church of Christ ought to be speaking up and speaking out. Amen. And I'm looking forward to our unity meetings, because we have a great foundation to do that from. And I'm excited because as you see these brothers up here, one thing I can say is that we are all on the same page.
Right.
And, you know, some people say, well, why ain't there unity in the churches of Christ? Why ain't we doing this? Why ain't we doing that? Hey, we doing a whole lot. We just need to continue to move forward, press forward, and deal with the issues of this day.
Amen.
I would just like to say, when Brother Davis was making those wonderful comments, that the greatest opportunity is what you see before you, up here, an alignment of trust.
Yeah.
The members ought to be behind this effort,
Yes.
not utilizing carnality to separate us.
Right.
I'll tell you this, we might not agree on everything doctrinally,
Lean on us, God.
but what we are doing
Yes, sir.
is we're coming together and we're meeting and we're establishing ourselves as brethren.
Yes, sir.
The reason why there was a problem with Abraham and Lot was because there was just too much herd for that little water. But Abraham said, you know what, you go that way, I go this way. He said, you know what, we be brethren.
Yes, sir.
That's what we are up here.
Amen.
And folk in the churches of Christ, the locality of the churches would rather, some of them would rather see us separated than united. And nothing is going to happen when the leaders of the church
Yes, sir.
are separated. So what folk ought to be doing is they ought to be advancing this cause. Once the leaders and the congregations are united, it is open. The doors are open.
Yes, sir.
But as long as we're fighting over this and that and things that have nothing to do with salvation, then we can pontificate all we want about what would be the greatest thing that we can do and the greatest opportunity, because what's going to happen is going to die by the wayside.
Yes, sir.
So what should happen is that the very fact that we're up here
Yes, sir.
ought to be a sign that the congregations ought to be united.
Yes, sir. Now, because of our time, and I think you guys have done an excellent job of answering questions and passing the mic and being respectful and sharing insight. I think that we have, I think that this is monumental. I don't know how you may feel, but I think this is monumental to have all of these preachers here to be able to share like this openly and candidly. Now, I've got to ask this one last question. You guys seen it on your page. It's the dream question. And because we have about 5 minutes so that we can get out of here, so that you can, there's the commercial. Okay, there's chili in the back. It's a fundraiser. It's $3 a bowl. The desserts are free. There's chili in the back. Please take some of it. If you'll be here tomorrow night at 6:30, also will be as we continue on this celebration, this pre-lectureship celebration. We'll have great preaching from our senior preachers up here. You'll be able to come back. As a matter of fact, this is the place to be tomorrow night. So don't go by your local place saying, well, I was just trying to go by here and see what we know. They're going to be here tomorrow night. Say amen, preacher, so they don't think I'm just saying something. So don't go by Eagle Creek. There's nobody there. Don't go by Cornerstone. Don't go by Fall Creek. There's nobody. We here Wednesday night. We're going to pack this place. And this would be a great opportunity to bring any of your friends, any of your haters, any of your co-workers to hear some of the greatest preaching they're ever going to hear in their life.
I agree.
Did you hear the preaching tonight?
Yeah.
Wasn't it sound?
Yeah.
Wasn't it spiritual? Can it save souls? We're not looking to try to teach people, we're trying to save souls. So make sure you're here tomorrow night. Come out in droves. Let's pack this place. Let's drive the ushers crazy, have them throwing out chairs and stuff again and all that kind of stuff. But be here. And those who are not registered for the lectureship, you want to register for this Midwest lectureship. You want to register for this Midwest lectureship. You do not want to miss this Midwest lectureship. It's going to be a lectureship to be desired. We have great preachers coming in the city. We've got great workshops. Go ahead, preacher. I missed it.
As a brief announcement, mention that, again, the speakers tomorrow night begin with the one and only Brother Peter Martin. Will kick us off on tomorrow night for the lesson.
We'll know what obtuse.
That's right. Followed by Brother Oscar Middlebrook, Dr. Perkins, Brother Randy Sims out of Fort Wayne, and then, of course, finishing up Brother Franklin Florence, the second.
FDR.
So we're looking forward to that. And I do want to, again, mention on Thursday at 2 o'clock, there's 2 workshops beginning at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 at 3 o'clock. And these are for everyone, to encourage everybody to go to this pre-lectureship workshops. But we have Brother Dr. Jeremy Flowers from Cincinnati, Great Road over there. He's going to be addressing about what does it mean to have a visionary leadership, expressing the idea, his backgrounds of leadership. He's sharing with us about leadership. Also, Brother Gino Merriweather out of Evansville is coming to also address with us the sense of developing leaders in the future. So what are the qualities required for being a great leader? And then we're living in a world where the LGBT community, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community is gaining influence. And Brother Michael Moore out of the Racine, Wisconsin, will talk about what they've been doing in that area to impact that part of that reality. And then, of course, Brother Randy Sims will talk about how you can take your gift and use it in hospitals and those areas of that nature. So these workshops are for also giving you skills and talents that you can apply. So once we finish up here Wednesday night, beginning at 6:30, come early for the chili. The preaching begins at 6:30. But be for 6 o'clock or before for the sake of the chili and the desserts. And again, make sure that you're there at 2 o'clock at the Embassy Suites for 2 great workshops. You get us kicked off with a break at 4 o'clock to begin back at 6:30. Thank you.
Amen.
Tomorrow night is preaching here, beginning with Brother Martin, ending with Brother Florence. And then Thursday, beginning at 2 o'clock at the Embassy Suites. From 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock with 2 sets of workshops for you to experience and to enjoy. Just be at the hotel. You'll be blessed on Thursday as well. Wednesday night and Thursday kicking off at the Embassy Suites. Bless you.
All right.